You got it.
Yes. Okay.
Hi. Are you
Hi.
working still?
I'm not working.
Oh, okay. I
Um,
was gonna say, did you dress up for the part?
no, I didn't. I did come back from work a little bit late today. So,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Work never
Well,
stops.
I'm glad that you're here, obviously,
Yeah.
because we've been getting the same question
Hmm.
all about diabetes.
Yes.
And the sad thing is, it's like it's quite popular in my friend group and my followers, the fact that they all came and said, please, can this be discussed?
Hmm.
How popular is it when you are at work? How many people come there with diabetes, and or even if they're heading towards it? Like
Yeah.
how popular, if you want to say popular, how popular is it these days?
So within my patient population, I would say about 90% of my patients have diabetes, and 90%, 90 to 95% of hospital patients have diabetes. So it is one of the
Yeah.
most prevalent diseases in South Africa. So I
Wow.
can imagine why a lot of your friends or a lot of these questions do come up. Um,
That's crazy.
it's one of the leading causes of death in South Africa.
Wow.
Mm.
So I have sent you some of the questions
Yes.
I were asked, and one of my moderators that is here and very close friend of mine still, unfortunately, her partner passed away from diabetes, and it was horrendous. So she is here,
Mm-hmm.
but and she was one of them that put some questions
Yes.
down. So she's already said she's got her tissues because she said it's very hard to talk about. But she is here listening. So, and it's obviously something there. She says hi. It's obviously something that people are not aware of.
Mm.
There's so many people that don't think it's an issue. Um,
Yeah, it is.
so
It's very
mm,
sad, and it obviously is a big problem in South Africa. So
mm,
what I was thinking, we can do it. I'll just go through all of the questions as quick as I can, so that we have at least 20 minutes for questions after. I saw some questions. Well, one question came through, but as the questions come through on the comments, I'll just jot them down or note them down, and then answer the
okay.
questions at the end, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
And
No problem. Because the moderators can also just keep an eye out for them too.
perfect.
And then we have got it there. We have put your contact number there. I don't know if you were here when I just said they
Yes,
can
I did.
contact you.
I heard that. So, one of the questions one of the questions were about the medical aid rates. We do charge medical aid rates. We do also have cash rates, which are cheaper than medical aid rates. All of our
Mm.
consults are either telephonic or virtual, or well, telephonic or virtual, and face to face. All of the information I'm going to give today is very generic. So each patient or each person needs to be seen by a dietitian individually, especially if they have diabetes, because of the medication that they take in is specific to the patient. If they are on insulin, it's very specific. There's no generic. I know one of the questions was, is there a generic a plan or generic eating plan for all diabetics? It doesn't work like that. It's not one meal plan fits all, because each patient is different, which is why it's
Mm.
important to see a dietitian. So even if you don't contact me, it's important that you do contact a dietitian that is close by to you, or someone that is in your. Maybe if you want to see someone face to face, going to someone
Mm.
that is closer to you, because it is very important. Okay.
So not just using Chat GPT, guys.
No, you cannot use ChatGPT. So I did an experiment, and I put into ChatGPT the condition, and I got a meal plan out of it, and it is not correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
it gives false information, and only someone who is a medical professional can see it's false, because it looks very legit. So
That's
yeah,
scary too.
it's very important that you do see someone. Okay, so let's get into the information and answer some of the questions that I've gotten from you, Candace, and then at the end we'll answer any questions that come through in the comment section. Okay, so
Okay, perfect.
let's talk about what diabetes is. So essentially, diabetes is where your body is unable to regulate its own blood sugars. And some of the reasons that this can, so first of all, we have different types of diabetes. We have type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and gestational diabetes. Those are the three main well-known ones. There is new diabetes, types of diabetes that have come up or been spoken about, but none of them have been accurately or labeled. So I want to talk about the three that are most known, and the others we can speak about if a patient comes to me with a specific type of diabetes. We also have pre-diabetes, and that's where you are before getting diabetes, the stage before diabetes, and you get insulin resistance. These all fall under the diabetic bracket. Okay, so diabetes is where, as I said, where your body is unable to regulate its own blood sugars. This can happen for multiple reasons. So, your body produces a hormone called insulin. Your pancreas produces this hormone. Okay, now what happens with the patient who's not diabetic is that you would eat food, and all food contains food that or becomes part of it would become sugar molecules. And once you eat that food, it becomes like your body breaks it down, becomes sugar molecule. Your blood will absorb this. And what's meant to happen is that the insulin that your body produces is meant to allow the sugar to go from your blood into your muscles and your organs. And this is what gives your muscles energy to function. So you need carbs is not a bad word. Carbs is not something that we want to stay away from. It's good. For a diabetic, obviously, there's certain ones that you need to stay away from, certain ones that you can eat, and then the quantities are important. Okay. So what diabetes essentially is that process of the sugar molecule going from the blood into the muscles is hindered or reduced or stopped. The reason that this happens is because there could be not enough insulin. So your body produces insulin, but not enough insulin. So what happens is the sugar stays in the blood and it doesn't have enough insulin. So we describe insulin as being keys. They open the door to the muscles and the organs. So there's not enough of the insulin that's flowing in the body that allows the sugar to go into the muscles. So what happens is that it stays, some of it goes into the muscle and then the rest stay in the blood. Okay, that's the first kind of mechanism. The second thing is that the body produces insulin, but produces insulin that's broken, that doesn't work very well. With that, also, you would eat whatever you've eaten, the sugar will go into your blood, but then it stays in your blood. When you have some insulin that works a little bit better than others, it allows that a little sugar to go into your blood, but then the remainder stays in your blood. The remainder of the sugar stays in your blood. And then sometimes, and this is where the insulin resistance come in, is where your body doesn't recognize the insulin or doesn't allow the insulin to work as well. Okay, so the insulin is there, it's working fine, but your body doesn't recognize it. Okay, and these all can be worked out and controlled with the diet and with medication. And I know that one of the questions were, can it be reversed? Okay, so diabetes can't be reversed, but you can decrease the severity of it. Once you're diabetic,
it's manageable.
It's manageable. So once you're diabetic, you'll always be diabetic, but then you can reduce the medication that you need. You can even come off the medication with strict dietary control. However, type 1 diabetes, you're always going to need insulin, the injectable insulin. There's no way that your body is going to get away with that, because that is an autoimmune disease where your body doesn't produce any insulin.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's very important that you, as a type 1 diabetic, if you are type 1, if you have kids that are type 1 diabetic, you know that it's going to be lifelong. There's no getting away from it. They're always going to need insulin.
But what causes that? Are they born with that, or
They're born with it, but what happens is initially in the first few years of life, your body has insulin from the mom, from the parent, from the mother, and that insulin works its way through the body, and then eventually, obviously, it works out. It works out of the body. So eventually they're going to realize that the child is type 1 diabetic because the body doesn't produce any more insulin.
And that's what Steele said. Her fiance was type 1,
Yeah, so
unfortunately.
it's very important with all diabetics that you follow a very strict diet, and after you get good control there, and this is where having a dietitian along the journey with you, have very strict control in the beginning, and then you are allowed some, let me not, it's, I wouldn't say cheats because cheat has a negative connotation to it. You are allowed some treats or something that you like in a healthy way and the healthy
Yeah.
amount. Okay, so that's again why it's very important to have a dietitian alongside with you. Okay, so when it comes, I want to link diabetes with the to your diet and how diabetes and diet play a role in it. So as I said that all food contains sugar molecules or glucose. And it's obviously the right type of, some of them have the wrong type of glucose, some of them have the right type of carbohydrate, some of them have the wrong type of carbohydrate that we want to stay away
Yeah.
from. Okay, so carbohydrate is not bad, starch is not bad, we just want the right type. Okay, so the first thing is, if you remember, I mentioned that all food has carbohydrates. It also has protein and fat. There are some foods that mainly are carbohydrates, mainly are protein, mainly are fat. But when you eat in your meal, so you eat in like whatever meal you eat in, whether it's pasta, whether it's rice and a protein and a chicken or fish or some legumes, then you have in that meal you have the three items, which is the protein, the fat, and the carbohydrate. So the first step is to always make sure that you never have carbohydrates on its own if you are diabetic. So never starch on its own, never, yeah, a fruit is also a starch, so never eating fruit on its own. Always eat it with the protein. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is making sure that you always have the right type of carbohydrate. Okay, so let me explain what a carbohydrate looks like. Okay, so a carbohydrate is small sugar molecules that are with the carbohydrate bond. Okay, and these bonds can either be loose or tightly held together. Okay, and it's dependent on the type of carbohydrate. If it's refined, meaning it's gone through a lot of processing, those bonds that hold the sugar molecules together are very weak. Okay, so these are things like your white bread, your white rice, your white pastas, anything that has sugar in it, anything that has refined flour in it, anything that has pastries in it, like your pies and
All the
stuff.
good
They
stuff.
all all the good stuff. They all are things that can very easily get digested. So we don't want those ones. We want the one that the sugar molecules are tightly held together. So these are things like brown bread, brown rice, basmati rice, your speckle rice, brown or whole wheat pasta, durum wheat pasta. Okay, and another trick is when you eat any of your starches, firstly, if you're having bread, toast your bread first. So have it toasted. And then with your starches, so bread, rice, pasta, maize meal, so like putupap, samp, always have it cold. Or well, not cold, but have it when it's cooled down after cooking, and you can reheat it in the microwave. Reason why this is important is because during the cooking process, those sugar molecule bonds break down. Okay, and then once it's cooled down, the bonds go back together, and then or fix back together, and then when you heat it in the microwave, they don't break down again. So essentially, if you are eating
What?
even if you're eating the right rice or you're eating the right pasta, if you're eating it straight out of the pot hot, straight after cooking, it's as if you're eating the pasta or the rice that you shouldn't be eating. So always let your rice and your pasta and any cooked starch cool down first, and then reheat
This
it in the
is
microwave.
like, I did
Okay.
not know this.
So remember, always eating starch with the protein, always eating the right type of starch, and then the amount is important, but that only your dietitian will be able to assist you with. Okay. That's how diabetes and the diet works together. It's important that we kind of make sure that we have a plan. When as a diabetic, you always have to have a plan. You can't go in onto your diabetic journey without a plan, without goals, without what things you need to do, because then you are going to set yourself up for failure. Okay. Then when to test your blood sugars? You should be, if you're a diabetic, you should be testing first thing in the morning before you do anything. Not even waking up to brush your teeth. Keep your testing kit at your bedside. Wake up, wipe your finger with an alcohol wipe or with sanitizer, then test your sugar, because sometimes your finger has a maybe sweat from the night before, touch the blanket, it can be diluted. So we always clean our finger first and then test our sugar. That gives us kind of a representation of what your sugars were the day before. Okay. If you are on insulin, you should be testing your sugar more often. Every morning, just as I mentioned, and then 2 hours after each meal.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. One thing that you should know is that when you have you have the same symptoms if you have a high blood sugar and a low blood sugar. Okay, you're gonna have lightheadedness. You're gonna have maybe have a headache, feel thirsty, feel nauseous, low appetite, feeling weak. These are all symptoms of having a low blood sugar and a high blood sugar. Okay, so it's important that when you have those symptoms, don't immediately have something that's high in sugar, thinking your sugar is low. They mimic the same symptoms. So it's important to test your sugar first before doing anything. Okay. So it's very important that we do make sure that we do this. Okay. Then, at what age can anyone get tested for diabetes? You can get tested at any age when you have any of the symptoms. So when you start off having diabetes, the few things that you need to look out, or things that you should look out for, symptoms you should look out for, which could be signs that you might be diabetic: increased thirst, increased urination, feeling tired, feeling lightheaded, loss of appetite, loss of weight. So you might think as a diabetic you're going to always be overweight. No, initially you do lose a lot of weight. Okay, this is because your body is compensating for the trying to regulate your blood sugar, and it uses a lot of energy. So you lose a lot of weight. One thing that you should know is that weight that you lose is fat. It's muscle, not fat. So you're losing a lot of your muscle mass, which is a bad thing when you're a diabetic, because you need a lot of muscle stores. Okay.
Wow.
The common causes of diabetes. So there's risk factors for diabetes. There's nothing that can be pinned down to saying this is the cause of diabetes, but there are risk factors. If you have any of these, they can be risk factors. The first thing is family or a family history or hereditary. Now, the problem with this, I know one of the questions were, how can you backtrack? How can you come back from it? Is by living a healthy lifestyle. If you know that in your family you have diabetes, make sure your kids live a healthy lifestyle. Make sure that they are active. Make sure that they are eating well. So just make sure that if there is diabetes in the family, or you have family members, especially your parents or your grandparents are diabetic, higher risk of your kids being diabetic later on in life, making sure that you do you create a healthy lifestyle at home. Okay. And then, so some of the risk factors again, they are inactivity, so not enough exercise. Ideally, we're wanting most people to have 15 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. That's the minimum. And then ideally, we would like 30 minutes every day. So 30 minutes 5 times a week. Okay, this can be walking, it can be walking around the block. It doesn't have to be vigorous exercise. It can be housework, it can be gardening. It doesn't have to be dedicated exercise, especially if you're someone that doesn't like exercising or doesn't like the gym. There's no excuse. There's always something that you can do that can kind of mimic.
Get you moving.
Yes. Okay. Dancing is also an excellent form of exercise. Okay, then another risk factor is obesity. Would be if your BMI tells us your obesity risk factor. Okay, that a dietitian can do for you, or your doctor can do for you. If you are overweight, you are very high risk of diabetes. You need to be able to lose weight. I know it's not easy. Weight loss is not something that is done Immediately, it's not something that can be done within a week, 2 weeks, a month. I have patients who it took them a year, 2 years to even lose 10 kgs. It's very patient specific, and this is why again you need someone to walk you through the journey, whether it's weight loss or whether it's diabetes or any other chronic condition. There's no one size fits all for everyone. You have to be able to walk with someone needs to walk with you through that journey, a healthcare professional. Okay, another risk factor is high blood pressure. So making sure that you control your blood pressure. If you are, again, obesity is going to influence everything else. So if you lose weight,
Yeah.
you're going to be much better off. Okay. Also, an unhealthy eating habit. So high amount of sugar, high amount of sugary drinks, high amount of high fat foods. These are all risk factors for diabetes. So even if you have a fast metabolism and you maybe not gaining weight, and if you are eating these foods, you're still at risk of diabetes.
So basically, even if you think you're healthy, you might not be.
Yes. So I'm not saying don't eat any of the sugary drinks or don't drink any of the sugary drinks or don't eat any of the foods that are high in sugar. Just have it in moderation. Don't have too much, but don't make it an everyday thing. You can make it as a treat, maybe on a Friday or a weekend. Okay, alcohol is also a risk factor. If you drink alcohol, can lead to your increasing your risk of getting diabetes. So we would suggest not having too much of alcohol. Okay, we're just coming out of the long weekend, and I'm not sure if you heard 50 people in the South Coast got arrested for drunken driving in Poughkeepsie.
No, I did not know, but I mean,
Yes.
it is Easter weekend, so they
Mm-hmm.
do get arrested
So
a lot.
it's very important that we try to keep our drinking of alcohol to a minimum. Okay, I'm not saying don't drink at all, but do it moderately. Yeah,
Moderately. Yeah.
moderately. Thank you. So we don't want too much. Okay.
Mm.
Um. Okay, and then when it comes to the injectable weight loss drugs, Ozempic and the
Yes.
likes of. Okay, so when it comes to these drugs, it's very important that you do see a dietitian. Okay, really, there's a lot of research that is shown that these have they can be very good. Okay, however, when you are on them, South Africa is the only country in the world where these drugs are given without a dietitian consult. If you watched, I
What?
think it was, yeah, I think it was one of the American news channels. They were talking about Ozempic, and they had a dietitian on their talk show. It was like, I think like morning live. It was like a morning live kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Ozempic and Manjaro and how, yes, it is beneficial, but you need a dietitian consult because your appetite is decreased to almost nothing. You only eat literally like one meal a day, but that one meal needs to be so nutritionally packed that you don't have nutritional deficiencies.
Wow.
Because with nutrition,
And here you can get it anywhere.
yes. So that's the problem is that you're going to get it, you're going to lose weight, yes, but then you're going to end up with nutritional deficiencies, which has bad long-term side effects. So you might be someone who's a little bit younger and think that that everything will be fine, but when you get older, you're going to have a higher risk of arthritis, a higher risk of osteoporosis, iron deficiency, anemia, vitamin lack of energy. So it's very important that when you are on any of these drugs, you are seeing a dietitian. And again, it's not something that you have to see them every month or every, it's at the discretion of the dietitian. And most dietitians that I know, there are dietitians that unfortunately do take advantage of patients, but majority of them would not overservice you. They would tell you, yes, you only need one consult, done, that's it, we'll see you again in a year's time. Or, okay, because you're on Ozempic, let's see each other for the first 3 months. Thereafter, we'll decide from there if you need to be seen, how often you need to be seen. Okay.
Yeah. Would it also be like for someone that's high risk or something like that? Like I know with Steel, she was the one who actually said to me, that it's used for what did I say to you? It was for diabetes,
Type
but I'm
2
not too
diabetes.
sure now. Type
So
2 diabetes.
it is a type of diabetic medication, but a lot of patients now, or doctors now use it for weight loss. They do use it for diabetes, but more for weight loss now because there are other injectables that are used for diabetes that are more targeted for
Okay.
diabetes. So it is used, but it's very important that if you are using it, you are using it with under very strict medical supervision. Don't just take it nilly-willy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then we want to talk about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is very good, can be very good, but also can be very bad. So anyone that wants to go onto an intermittent fasting diet, they need to be able to again see a dietitian, get a meal plan from them specifically for them, based on the medication that they are taking, based on their weight, based on their age, based on their other comorbidities, other medication that they take in. It's very important. It's a very scientific meal plan. It's not just one that willy-nilly you're going to do and you're going to get the amount that you mean to eat. Okay, so this is why it's very important that you do see someone about it. And
Yeah,
then,
because when you talk about intermittent fasting, everyone just says, oh, well, I Googled it and just do this, or I'm using that. So,
yeah.
then they share it. And
So it
so
is very
basically,
It's
mm,
very individualized and it's very good. It has very good benefits and good results. However, again, it's very patient specific. And if you'll see someone that would go on an intermittent fasting diet, one person would be fine on it, but the next person has so little energy and struggling and not doing too well. And it's all based on the fact that they didn't seek someone who gave it to them based on their weight, based on their medication.
mm,
Yeah, so it's important that you
okay.
are able to see someone. And they are, for those that unfortunately can't afford dietitian consult privately, they are state dietitians. At all state hospitals, they are dietitians. You just have to make get the doctor, go to casualty, get the doctor to refer you to a dietitian, and they do consults.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even so, even here,
Yes,
you can go here.
The Egyptian hospital does do consults. However, they don't do meal plan. They wouldn't give you a meal plan.
Yeah, they'll just consult you and tell
Yeah,
you yay,
they'll
nay,
be
the
yes,
basics.
yes. So they'll be
Okay.
able to tell you, yes, you allow this, no, you're not allowed this, but they wouldn't give you a meal plan. For a meal plan, unfortunately, you do have to go to a private dietitian.
Yes, don't chat GPT it. I'm going to keep saying that. Don't chat GPT it.
ChatGPT is not the best. Like, trust me, if it will look good. It does look good from the outside, but when you look at the science behind it, it's not enough information.
Do you also not think it is very generic because you're not putting in the information, even though they might say they ask you to give, or it asks you to give more information. It's not doing the blood work. It's not weighing you. It's not
Yes.
measuring your body. It's not going into detail like that as a medical
Yes.
professional or dietitian.
So it's very important. That's why I'm saying it's very important that you see a medical professional, you see a dietitian, because as a dietitian, we have studied 4 years at university, specific all 4 years, only nutrition,
Mm,
completely nutrition. So for 4 years, we learned how to manage diets, how to prepare diets, how to look at the biochemistries or the blood results, how to look at the body composition. And a lot of dietitians, especially well in our practice, we have something called an in-body that will tell you how much of fat and how much of muscle you have, where your fat is, where your muscle is. So you also
I
know
did that.
even if you're not diabetic and you're looking to lose weight, even if you're looking to gain muscle, you'll know exactly what to do because you can take this reading and take it to um, your your exercise, whoever's helping you with your exercise, as your personal trainer, sorry, that they can help you and assist you in which areas and what exercises exactly you need to do.
I did that with Natalie, and
Mm.
it's like the weirdest thing because your one arm might be obviously, like your predominant if you're writing with your right hand or
Mm.
whatever, but it's like your left leg, your right leg, this side of your body, that side of your body. I
It
was
also,
like,
so we can,
what?
from looking at it, because obviously we know how to interpret it. We can tell you if you've had an injury, and that's why maybe the muscle or the fat is different between the two, the bone density, the bone minerals. So we see all of that.
It's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
It's scary though, because you're like, I feel like you're looking into my soul. I'm like, oh my
But it's
gosh.
important
But it
because then
is
it
very
helps us.
interesting.
It helps us when we are creating your meal plan. Because then we know,
Mm,
okay, you need more protein. It helps us.
for sure.
Okay, and then we spoke about the exercise and how exercise can help in preventing because it's going to help with um, obviously helping with weight loss, but also then helping to make your body more sensitive to insulin when you are more active. Okay,
Okay.
so the
What
more
if you
active,
get like really hungry,
okay, then we have snacks.
like
You
from
always
exercising?
maybe then you have snacks. So snacking is
Okay.
not a bad thing. Eating is not a bad thing. When you're hungry, we don't want you to starve. We want you to eat. But the problem is eating the right thing. So some of the snack
Yeah.
options that you can do is like a Provita biscuit with, remember, always the protein. So with peanut butter or with tuna or with hummus or with cheese or yeah, any type of fish spread, any type of protein on it, egg, or if you want popcorn, you can have popcorn. But remember, popcorn doesn't have any protein, so we're going to have popcorn and maybe like a glass of milk or some drinking yogurt on the side. You can do fruit and yogurt as a snack. You can do apple slices and peanut butter, melted peanut butter.
Mm,
You can do
nice.
there's many things you can do, small crackers with different things on it. So there's many snacking options that you can do. Everything is obviously based on what you like and whether you like something sweet. We also have many recipes that are developed to help like make rusks, make smoothies if you're not someone that likes breakfast in the morning, muffins that are all diabetic friendly. Yeah, there's many things that we can do to kind of manipulate what you are doing, just to keep it to as close as what you are doing, but just in a healthy
Yeah.
way.
Awesome. Okay,
Okay.
cool.
Were there any questions that I missed? Because I only saw the question about the medical aid.
I don't think so. Guys, if you have any questions, you can put it in the comments now. I think I was also asking questions, so hello, Lianka. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here. Please keep sharing out the live. We are speaking to Stacey, who is become our resident dietitian now. We've just hauled her in here. Please can you contact her if you want more information because she's not here for long periods of time. So, and it's going to be on off. So if you want something specific, you can send me a DM or contact me privately. But also, if you want to have a one-on-one with Stacey and get more involved and more personal, then you can have a look here. Her number is in the comments. Our moderators will keep putting it in there for you as well. What is the difference between honey, sugar, and syrup?
Okay, they all are the same. They all are coming from a fructose something. So maple syrup comes from maple. Sugar, like normal sugar, comes from sugar cane. Honey comes from honey. But they all have the same element in it, which is the fructose or sucrose.
Hey, Steph. So it's all bad.
It's all bad. Okay, we can
But then
sweeten our
everyone
fruit.
has like honey.
Honey,
Everyone will say have honey. It's like
it's
a safer option. I don't know.
not a safer option. They're all the same. And brown sugar and white sugar is exactly the same. For anyone who thinks brown sugar is better than white sugar, it's the same.
Okay, so Louis says Himalayan salt helps with dehydration most of the times for reasons for headaches.
Okay,
And then
so
Louis says raw honey.
even raw honey is the same. It still has sucrose in it. It still has sugar in it. Eventually, when you eat it, it's going to become sugar. It's just
I
not
feel like
processed.
Stacey might just climb through here. Like,
And then I saw something about the Himalayan salt. The reason that if you are dehydrated, you need electrolytes. So Himalayan salt has sodium, which normal salt has, sodium chloride. That's going to help.
so he's saying it helps with dehydration.
Normal salt
Like,
does
what does it
exactly the
help
same.
dehydrate you or help hydrate you?
If you are dehydrated, you need to take electrolytes.
Not
Because
salt,
if you dehydrate it, like no salt and sugar, you need to add salt and sugar to water,
but
but not if you're
normal,
diabetic.
but normal,
Normal.
not
If you're diabetic, there
normal.
are dehydration solutions for you. So, like if you're vomiting, if you're having nausea, oh, sorry, vomiting, if you're having diarrhea, if you are exercising and sweating a lot, then you have to replenish those electrolytes because you've now taken it out of your body. As much
Oh
as
yes, yes.
productively.
There was a question. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So Canik asked here about men and women. It was something to do with who's at higher risk or
Yes,
something like that.
risk factors. Okay, so the risk factors are the same. Whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, all risk factors are the same. Ronald, you are very right. That's my cousin.
Um, when it comes to oily foods,
Mm-hmm.
does that affect your diabetes?
Yes. The reason why it's going to cause you to gain more weight, and that's going to affect your blood sugar readings, your
Do not
ability to.
invite him to join. Sorry, moderators, do not invite him to join the live. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So with the blood sugar, with the oily food or anything that has high fat in it, it's just going to cause you to gain weight, and then it's going to cause your cholesterol to go high, and it's like almost like a round
A vicious circle.
vicious circle. Yeah. Okay, Kenneth. If there aren't any more questions, I am going to have to leave because I was supposed to leave at
Yeah.
9. But yeah. Okay.
Well, if anyone does want to ask, you guys, Stacey's number is here. You can. This is not her account, so she's not going to get those messages. Please, you've got one more question. Please get
We
hold of
take all
Stacey if you want
medical
any more.
we take all medical aids. We check if you have benefits available. A lot of medical aids, if you are diabetic, have diabetic benefits. So a lot of the time you don't know that you have a dietitian consult for free, not coming out of your savings because you're diabetic.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would work. It would work under
Like a
under as
different
a
benefit. Yeah.
PMB.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you
Thank you so
so
much. It was
much
lovely
once again.
chatting with you guys. Have
Yeah,
a
it
good
was
evening.
awesome. I'm very glad that you joined us. Have an amazing evening. Go look
Thanks.
after your phone now.
I will. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.